Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the March 2021 Pathfinder District Virtual Roundtable. My name is Matthew Kennedy, and I am your host and Master of Ceremonies for tonight. I also happen to be District Vice Chair and Virtual Roundtable Commissioner. So welcome. It's a pleasure to have everybody here. I know that we've got people who are still coming in to the stream, so we'll give everybody a couple of minutes to gather. But I do want to welcome everybody who's joining us on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Periscope live for tonight's broadcast. Please do feel free to put comments in and let us know that you're here. This is an interactive session, and I look forward to giving you a ton of information, answering questions, and all the things that we're used to in the roundtable experience. So without further ado, we do want to kick off for our standard opening ceremonies. It wouldn't be a scouting event without them. So please, wherever you may be, prepare yourself for the Pledge of Allegiance, Scout Oath, and Scout Law.
Those in uniform, please salute. Those who are not, put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
Again, welcome. It is a pleasure to have you with us tonight. We do have, as always, I say it every single month, we have a jam-packed agenda. Tonight is no exception, so we're going to get right to it. But before we do, as always, if you would please take a moment and check in for attendance. As with every roundtable, we do like to keep track of which units are represented. So if you would please, in the comments, wherever you may be, if you're joining us live on Facebook or on YouTube, there is a place to comment below the video. Please let us know which unit you're here representing, or units if there are multiple. Also let us know if you hold a district position either with the committee or as a commissioner, if you're with a council position, or even if you're a guest from outside of our council. Let us know. We would love to know who we have joining us here tonight. And those comments are an ongoing thing for the evening. If you have a question, if you have a topic that you would like to discuss, a concern, please feel free to put those in the chat as well. We will address those as we go along. We do have a guest who will be joining us here first shortly, and we can share questions with her as well. And then as we go throughout the rest of the evening, if there's a question that comes up, I'll do my best to answer it. And if I don't have the answer, maybe somebody who's watching this stream will have the answer and can comment on that in the chat as well. If you are catching this as a recording, you couldn't join us tonight on March 11th. If you're joining us after the fact, welcome as well. It's a pleasure to have you joining us after the fact. It's one of the benefits of doing Roundtable in this format. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to watch and get caught up on the information that we have. So without further ado, we're going to move on to our first topic. And as the weather is getting warmer, hopefully permanently, there might be a little bit of dip of cold weather coming up, but you know, the spring rains are coming, and so it's definitely a good time to talk about springing into scouting. Normally we talk about recruitment in the fall. This year we're going to start a little bit earlier. So without further ado, let's get into spring recruitment for Crossroads of America Council. And I would like to welcome in our special guest for tonight, Pathfinder District's committee membership chair, our very own Mickey Hamill. Mickey, welcome to Roundtable. It's a pleasure to have you. I think this is your first time on the virtual stream, so thank you for taking the time to join us tonight.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Matthew. First of all, I want to just say thanks for putting this together. It's really nice that we can all join together and go over these important, this important information and gather as a group. on a rainy night like this and not have to drive out in the rain. So this is a great way for us to all come together under some interesting circumstances. And I don't know if you can see me all the way. I feel like I'm halfway on the screen. Can you?
Yeah, if you just scoot over a little bit to your right, you'll be good.
There we go. Maybe that's a little better. Thank you. Sorry about that. We are live, folks.
Hey, you know what? The fun of live television, except we're doing it on the web. So, like I mentioned, we're going to be getting into a new recruitment season here in the spring, and I know a lot of units are used to doing recruiting in the fall, especially Cub Scout packs. But we're going to kind of flip things on its head a little bit. So, tell us a little bit about spring recruitment for scouting in Pathfinder District.
Yes, I would love to. So, we know as a district, as a council, we know that recruitment's been hard this year. We know there was, circumstances that kept us from gathering and trying to gather scouts. And even beyond recruitment, we also know retention has been difficult for Cub Scouts without having a meeting place, without or being able to gather and to keep those activities going. We may have lost some scouts that have tapered off or have sort of lost interest in that at that Cub Scout age. So we're really excited to bring these recruiting events to you. And the great thing is you don't have to do a thing. Just show up. We've done it all for you. Your committee's working hard to get these programs together for you so that all you have to do is get the word out. If you've lost Cubs along the way, this may be a great opportunity to reach out to them and get them back excited and involved. And also a fantastic, of course, its main purpose to try to recruit some new scouts and to get the word out there in your neighborhoods and in your areas and be able to see if we can't recruit some Cubs this spring instead of having to wait for fall. So that's what we're looking at. We've got several events planned for you, and I think we're gonna put up some slides here and start going over the events. Yeah, here we go. So the theme this year, of course, is Hooked on Scouting. So we have got some really great events coming up for fishing events. This is council-wide spring events, Saturday, May 2nd. Right now, we know that Pathfinder District will be utilizing two locations, one at Waverly Park, one at Johnson County Park. And these will be fishing events. So we would love to see your Cub Scouts come out and join us and have some fishing fun. We would love to, and any new scout that we can get via flyers and school flyers that are being put out will be addressed to if we get any interest, which we will get interest, we will assign those scouts to the packs that they go to that school, with the school that filters into that pack. So we'll make sure that we get those leads out to you as they come in. And for any brand new scout that signs up that day at the event, actually for any of these events that I'll be talking about in the future too, any of these events that we get a new scout that signs up, they will be getting a fishing pole, which is very exciting. We're very happy to be able to bring that to you. And also, any scout who brings that scout, if you bring a friend, if you're already a Cub Scout and you bring a friend and you get that friend to actually sign up and become a Cub Scout at one of these events, you will also get a fishing pole. So we're really excited about this, and we're really hoping that this will get our Cubs excited to invite their friends to come along and to have some fun with us. So so this is the first event. It's going to be Saturday, May 2nd. And then moving on from that, we're also going to have 3 Saturday events in the next 3 months. So March, April, and May, the 3rd Saturdays. So the first one coming up is March 20th. This is going to be a shooting sports day. We'll be looking at BBs and some archery. So it'll be a lot of fun. And this will be at the FFA Leadership Center in Trafalgar. It's March 20th. It's going to be from 1 to 4 p.m. And again, any Cub Scout is welcome to come and join us. If that Cub Scout brings a friend and that friend signs up for Scouts that day, they will each get a fishing pole. And I don't think we'll have the fishing poles there, but they will get their voucher for one. So don't worry, they will be getting them eventually. Also, I think if you are a key 3 for a pack, or if you've been, if your key 3s, let me know you're one of the designated recruitment people for your pack. You've probably gotten an email from me already with some of this information. And just to clarify, I think in the initial stages, we were going to do a raffle. So just know that raffle is now turned into a fishing pole. So even better. And, not one kid's going to win, it'll be anybody who brings a friend that signs up for scouting. So that's exciting. We're excited to be able to bring that to you. So the first one, yes, is going to be April 17th again at March 20th again in Trafalgar at the FFA Center. The April 17th event, the third Saturday in April, this one is still in the works. So what I want you to do right now is just save that date. Just plan on having a fun Cub Scout event on that day. It will be from 1 to 4, but we are still, your committee is still working on getting those details knocked out. So we're hoping for something like maybe at Perry Park or sort of in that area. We do want it to be on the opposite side of the district, sort of the opposite side of town than Trafalgar, so that we, so we're fair about getting location. And right now, I will say right now we're hoping to do a bike rodeo, but that's still in the works and the theme may change. So, but it's going to be fun regardless of what it is. We trust us, we will make it fun. So there's that. Please save the date for that. And then also, we did have this May 15th. And honestly, I just literally 2 minutes ago, hot off the presses, received a text from Tucker from our DE. And he just let me know that date is actually going to be May 22nd. So I apologize for what's on the screen and what went out in the email. We will make corrections to that. But it's going to be May 22nd at Camp Cretenstein. And this is going to be a Western section event. So it won't just be our district. It'll be the whole Western section, which just means a couple of extra a little bit beyond our district, but not much. And this will be sort of a summer camp or family camp preview. This is going to be a lot of fun because this will just be sampling summer camp activities. We'll have lots of different stations and things to do, and again, just a lot of fun. So bring your cubs out. Let's get them hyped up again to be active, and again, really focusing on trying to give us that shot in the arm that we need for some recruiting, for some early recruiting in spring, since the year kind of threw us a curveball. So we know that a lot of the packs are really needing to recruit and really wanting to recruit early. So these are great opportunities. And the best part about this, I cannot stress it, there is no cost to the Cubs. There is no cost. This is not, pay $5 income. This is a free event that we are putting on for you guys. And you don't have to do any work. I mean, how fantastic is that? Recruiting, and you don't have to do anything. Just show up, get the word out there. Definitely put this out on your Facebook pages, on your PTA pages, on your neighborhood apps. Let's get the word out there, because that's how we're going to get the kids in. And if you really want to boost up your packs, the best way is to get the word out in your areas and in your neighborhoods. But definitely everything's taken care of for you. So just come on down, have some fun, and let's get some Cubs enrolled. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too.
Awesome. Well, Mickey, thank you so much for that information. We're going to cover a couple of other things, but if any of you who are out there, if you have questions, if you have anything that you would like to ask about these events, please put those in the chat here real quick. We'll bring those on the screen and address those questions. A couple of things, though, that I do want to ask you about and kind of clarify. First of all, we were talking about how a lot of this is recruiting for Cub Scout packs. I think we need to make sure that people are also aware that spring recruiting is not just a Cub Scout activity. This should also be a conversation at the troop level too, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we absolutely want to see the troops trying to recruit. We were suggesting also that there are some free fishing days coming up for the state of Indiana. We know youth, the ages of our scouts, don't need a fishing license, but this is extremely helpful because your leaders and your parents will not need licenses on those days. So at the troop level, if you want to do a hooked on scouting event, and just, gather your troop up and get the word out there and do some fishing. These are some great, any ideas that you have, or any troop that needs help with ideas, please text me, email me. I've reached out to all of the key 3, I think, in our entire district. So you should have my information. We're happy to help you sort of brainstorm or fill in the blanks wherever we can. And definitely, we know that the troops would like to do some recruiting as well. But we also know that if we focus on, if we get the Cubs in, then our attrition happens. And so that's why so much emphasis on the Cubs right now. But we do want to definitely see our troops recruiting as well.
Yeah. And, another thing to bear in mind, for everyone out there watching, we're talking about these events that we're doing at the, council-wide or district events that we're putting on, or sectional events in May. Units obviously are more than welcome to do their own individual events if these dates or these events don't work for your unit or for your scout. So please, if you would like to think outside the box and do an event on your own, feel free to do so. And with the troops, bear in mind that, if you signed on for the Promise to Parents this past fall, helping a Cub Scout pack with recruiting is one of the requirements. So this can help go to satisfy that. But more importantly, troop recruiting is, whereas packs are doing it largely from the schools and from the, from outside youth coming in, troop recruiting really is taking place at the pack level. The more active you are with a Cub Scout pack, the more active that you are being there in uniform, setting the example and showing the younger scouts, this is what you can attain to be. Or if you're a venturing crew doing something similar with a troop or a pack, that will help your recruiting come crossover, because ultimately you'll have scouts that are interested in coming to your unit as well. So, Mickey, you were going to say something with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't, and you never know when you get these Cub Scouts in, a lot of them have older brothers, older sisters, especially the girls who are just starting, they didn't have a chance to be Cub Scouts and they're just starting to join. So, a lot of that happens as well. So definitely, we want to be focused on reaching the older kids as well. I was at a Blue and Gold last weekend, and a fantastic group of young men came from the troop to support the pack, and it was just absolutely fantastic to see them all really get in there, and the Cubs, and the way the Cubs just look up to them. And so absolutely, you want to be involved with your troops and really put that energy out there.
Yeah. And then one other thing, I just want to make sure that we clarify this point because it'll get a little confusing. So the event on May 2nd, if a new scout, or if a scout brings a friend who signs up, at that event, they will receive a fishing pole on site. So there it will happen in person. If they come to one of the district events, essentially prior to, after the main fishing day, I'm not sure how it'll work, but on March 20th or April 17th, they're not receiving a fishing pole that day.
To my knowledge, they won't. They'll receive a voucher. I'm not sure when we're going to have the fishing poles in hand, but I know that we've been approved for them. So if we don't have them yet in hand, they will get a voucher. If we have them in hand, we'll be happy to pass them out. But it's just one of those timing things. But they will be receiving a fishing pole, and we're very excited to be able to offer that.
And I think the plan is that those vouchers then could be redeemed at the scout shop. We're still working out the logistics of that part, but I think that's the direction we're going. So I don't see any questions coming into the chat. So Mickey, any parting words of wisdom for everyone for spring recruiting, and then as we get into summer and fall?
No, just come on out. We can't do anything unless you're there. So get your bodies there and let us do the work for you. And we're just so pleased to be able to offer these events, and just looking forward to seeing everybody come out and have a good time.
Excellent. Well, Mickey, thank you so much for your time tonight and for joining us. And congratulations on your first successful roundtable appearance. The first one's always hardest. It gets easier from here. So have a wonderful night. Thank you for joining us.
All right. Good night.
Good night. In connection with the event on May 2nd, we will be doing a special broadcast, and by we I mean Crossroads of America Council, on Monday, March 22nd at 7 p.m. Live on the council's Facebook and YouTube channels. If you've not gotten enough of my lovely face, guess who you're going to see. We'll be doing something very similar to what we do here for Roundtable, and we'll be doing a special event talking about spring recruiting more in depth, and specifically talking about the May 2nd event, how units can help support the district level events that are being put on, the whole conversation about the fishing poles, the fishing theme, how we're utilizing the Indiana DNR's free fishing days to make that happen on that weekend, other ways that you can help promote and get involved. There will be a large amount of promotion going around this event on social media, so you can definitely help by getting the word out through those. But ultimately, at the end of the day, this is about getting new scouts into our program who over the past 8 months weren't able to, for whatever reason, whether it have been school restrictions or our units not being able to meet. But also it's an opportunity to bring scouts back into the fold. And I don't have the details on this yet, but I'm hearing discussion that we may have a program where if scouts did not recharter last year, because of COVID, if they want to come back in now, we may be having a way of reducing the membership fee to get them back in, possibly all the way down to free. I don't take my word for that, but more information will come out on that as soon as we have it. And on March 22nd, we'll be discussing it a lot more in depth. So keep your eyes posted. We'll start putting that information out next week. I can set up the live stream 7 days in advance, so I have to wait for next Monday night after 7 p.m. to set it up. But we'll have the exact links and locations for you at that point. So please mark your calendars. March 27th, I'd love to see you again. After spring comes summer, and I'm not sure if it's the second most important. You might argue that this is the most important topic that we're going to talk about tonight, but Summer Camp 2021 is a very important thing to scouting units. We didn't have the opportunity for summer camp last year. We definitely want to seize the moment and get back to the outdoors this year. So we're going to have a little bit of a conversation about summer camp. And to start, last month there was a large focus on Cub Scout camps and the options that we have. Here's a little bit of something to get you rejuvenated and excited about Scouts BSA, and specifically the Randsburg experience.
For more than 100 years, the pinnacle of the Boy Scouts of America experience has been summer camp. But camping is not the goal. It is a method of teaching life skills and personal growth.
Okay. Have you heard it before? Yes. Okay, you got it.
Away from regular routine and electronic distractions, Scouts venture off with their friends to be challenged and tested. Learning how to work collaboratively to achieve personal and team goals. "100 years ago, our camps were different. Compasses didn't operate on GPS, and the only escape from the heat was sleeping outside at night. And often that brought little relief. Today's technology has changed the way we think about camp, but not the fundamental experience of living in the woods and sleeping under the stars.
Hello, my name is David Cobb, and I'm currently serving as the Vice President of Program for the Crossroads Council. And I wanted to talk to you for just a little bit about Camp 2021 and how it's going to be a lot better than Camp 2020. We know we made some adjustments last year and we weren't able to physically be in camp, but we are planning for full camp operations in Camp 2021 at all of our facilities. I wanted to let you know that the registration is filling up, particularly at Randsburg, so make sure you're getting your names in, getting your troop rosters, and being ready to go. I also encourage you, as you look for the district day camp operations, that we begin to get those set up in place now. Our weather's turning warmer, we're starting to think about camp, people are wanting to get outside again. I also want to reiterate that while we are planning for Camp 2021, we will do it safely. We have been reviewed by the Executive Committee, all of our plans and operations, our Council Health Board, and our risk management, that we assured that you and your campers can come to all of our facilities in 2021 with confidence and safety as we look through the operations for the summer. We will no doubtly have to make some adjustments as we gather data and learn more, but we have plans in place, mitigation plans, activity plans, that we will be able to put a full summer program on this year for your scouts. This is particularly important for program because we know it's camping and advancement, and the leaders that are trained and gain training in camp lead to that advancement and the camping participation that build the enthusiasm for scouting, and it is that laboratory where scouting takes place. So in closing, I hope you're ready for a fun Camp 2021. We are going to be ready. I'd like to turn it over now for a few closing comments to our Firecrafter Chief, Ryan.
Hi, my name is Ryan Wainscott, and I represent the Firecrafter organization, and I'm proud to say I'm returning on camp staff at Camp Randsburg for the 5th summer now. And I know I can speak for everyone where last year was a bummer, but I am more than thrilled that summer camp is going to be happening this year. There's been lots of changes at all our camps, building new facilities and getting the campgrounds ready. And although it may look a little bit different this year, I am so excited to see how the scouting community is going to come together, support each other, and make camp the best place on earth.
So when it comes to Summer Camp 2021, this is probably the most important slide that I'm going to have for you tonight. Registration is open. It has been open since earlier this year, but early bird registration, the deadline is April 15th for all camps across the board. That is a little more than a month away, and by a little, I mean 4 days. So make sure that you're communicating with your units, with all of the families of your scouts in your units, to get them registered for summer camp as soon as possible. I know that a lot of people, troops have been getting registered for Randsburg. There's definitely a lot of the spots that are filling up there. The Cub Scout packs are a little bit behind the troops when it comes to summer camp registration, but ultimately we want to make sure that we're getting everybody registered for camp as soon as possible. That early bird deadline is April 15th. After that, all of the prices are going to increase. Also, if you have someone who's applying for a campership through the council, if they're looking for financial assistance, it is available, and please make sure that you're having scouts apply for that if they need help. We don't want money to stand in the way of anyone going to summer camp, but also in that scoutership or the campership is based off of the idea that it's off of the early bird rate, and they will need to get the 50% that isn't covered by the campership paid by April 15th, or it does go up on them after that point. So please make sure that you're communicating to everybody. Spring break is coming up, so we're going to have a lot of units that lose communication with people for a couple of weeks. So instead of having 4 weeks plus 4 days, it's really like we've got 2 weeks plus 4 days to get this done. So please make sure that you're communicating this to your families as much as you possibly can. On top of that, and this is more for Cub Scout packs than it is for the troops, there are a series of YouTube live streams that are being put out by Crossroads of America Council. They're going out on the council's YouTube channel. There's a link here on the screen. It looks kind of strange, but that will get you directly to one of the Cub Scout summer camp parent and leader video meetings that are being done. They're about, the one that I saw is about a half hour long, and it's providing a little bit more in-depth information that families need going into summer camp 2021. There was another version of that meeting that was earlier today at 2 p.m. I think there's another one scheduled even after that. So if you haven't had a chance to check one of those out, again, the advantage with doing these is a live stream, and then, it will live on YouTube. If you go to that link, you can catch the meeting that you missed and catch up on the information and some of the answers to questions that were asked during that session. So definitely take a moment to catch up on that if you haven't had a chance to do so as well. Summer camp is crucial to the scouting method, and for teaching the program that we have. It is absolutely imperative that we get every scout to camp that we possibly can. So, if you have any questions on that, Lisa Gruby unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight, but as the district's camping chair, she is the one who would be able to best suited to answer those questions. Go to our district's webpage, and you can click on the link and contact her directly for more information. As you may have seen on a Facebook post that we did this past weekend, there was a little bit of a teaser from some video that we were shooting at a super secret, undisclosed location. Actually, it's not that secret. It was our wonderful friends at the Franklin Elks Lodge 1818. Thank you for being our hosts on Saturday. Normally in early March, we would be holding the Pathfinder District Volunteer Awards Dinner, and in the era of COVID, doing a large-scale event with 100+ guests and doing food service, unfortunately, is just not in the cards. So this year, our awards event is being done virtually, and ultimately, we did film some video segments for that. We will be premiering that video on April 15th. As we get closer, we will set up a scheduled time for that to premiere. Do mark your calendars and plan on attending. We will be recognizing a number of award winners that night, including all of our District Award of Merit winners for 2020, the Scoutmaster of the Year, the High Adventure Unit Leader of the Year for Crew and Ship, Cub Master of the Year, the Guiding Light Award winners, and others. So do take a moment to mark your calendar. We'll get that information out once we have it. It will be a wonderful tribute to the volunteers out there who make scouting possible in Pathfinder District, and we do thank everyone for their hard work and their support. On that note, there is an award, though, that I've got a brief video here that we would like to recognize one of Pathfinder District's own. This is something that's a little bit separate from the awards event, but there is someone who the council would like to recognize for their support of scouting.
Hello and good evening. My name is Ken Ruppel, and I'm in the philanthropy department here with the Crossroads of America Council. From my home to yours, thank you for allowing me to be part of your program this evening. It is my privilege and pleasure to recognize Brant Gerganis with the James E. West Fellowship Award. This national award provides recognition to groups or individuals who provide a gift to the council's endowment with a gift of cash or securities that is above and beyond the annual support for the Friends of Scouting campaign. In turn, interest from the Crossroads of America Council endowment is reinvested each year in council operations to support scouting in our local community. There can be no finer honor paid to a scouter than be named James E. West Fellow, indicating that the nominee is in the same spirit and dedication to scouting as was James E. West, who of course was recognized as the true architect of scouting in the United States. Those who are recognized by the James E. West Fellowship Award will cast their own lengthened shadow as they help ensure scouting legacy by helping create the financial stability needed to carry Scouting into the next century. Brant's fellowship will be recognized with a personal certificate in a leather folder, a lapel pin, and a square knot to wear on the Scout uniform. Thank you, Brant, for sharing of your time, your talent, and your treasure with Scouting. Really appreciate it. If you'd like to have information sent to you or shared with you about the James E. West Fellow, feel free to reach out to Tucker or myself and make sure to get that to you. Thanks again, everybody, for allowing me to be part of your program again tonight. Have a great evening.
And thank you, Ken. But more importantly, thank you, Brant, for all of your dedicated service to Scouting and all of your support of Pathfinder District over the years. It's always been great working with you. And thank you for being my link generator. If you were looking for that YouTube link for the Cub Scout elements, he shared it on Facebook, so you could click it. I do appreciate your support. So, Brant, from the bottom of my heart, congratulations on your receipt of the James E. West Award. On that note, you may have received a mailing, and there's a picture of it here on the screen. I have the original copy here. Don't ignore my address on there. But you probably have received a mailing for what is being called the inaugural Give to CAC Day of Giving. And on March 25th, it's something where we're trying to provide a method for families and supporters of Scouting to participate in the Friends of Scouting campaign in a way that is easier and more conducive in this era of COVID. If units are still meeting or meeting distantly and the traditional presentation isn't able to happen, this is simply an effort that the entire council and all 7 districts and all of us can help to put forth to support the Scouting movement here in Central Indiana. If you haven't received one of these flyers, let Tucker or myself know. We'll definitely get you the information. But on March 25th, what we're asking is for everyone to consider putting forth their pledge for the 2021 Friends of Scouting campaign. If you have already pledged, thank you. We do genuinely appreciate your support. If you would like to consider an additional pledge, please feel free to do so. This flyer and this Day of Giving is in keeping with the Friends of Scouting campaign that we traditionally do at the unit level for families. And it will still count towards your unit's goal, as it were, for the campaign. But it's simply a way to make it easier for you to participate if you are interested in doing so. So definitely take a look at the flyer, make plans on the 25th to help support our council and show your support for the Scouts and the volunteers and the units and the districts and the facilities that our council has to offer. If you would consider supporting this campaign, I personally would be very thankful and appreciative from the bottom of my heart. That said, I do want to point out that the Friends of Scouting Family campaign is still ongoing, and the Give to CAC does not replace a family Friends of Scouting unit presentation specifically for those units who signed up for the Promise to Parents program for Recharter last year. So if you have not signed up yet, and there are a number of units that have not, that need to as part of this program, please make sure that you are going to this link that is on the screen and registering for your presentation. We obviously will do it in person if your unit is meeting in person and we have the opportunity to do so. If you are meeting virtually still, if that is the only option that you have, we will make that work for your presentation as well. But the key is you do need to get registered as soon as possible. So if you haven't done so, please make sure that you are getting that done. Now, I used the phrase in that, the Promise to Parents, and I want to make sure that we're not confused because the next section that we're going to discuss is also called the Promise to Parents. In late 2020, during the Recharter process, the council had a program that was put forth, approved by the board for the Promise to Parents, and that was to help provide financial assistance to units and scouts who needed it during recharter to help offset a little bit of the financial impact that COVID may have caused. Now, Promise to Parents is going to be a different program, but based kind of on the same idea without the recharter part involved. So there's a video here that I want to play. It premiered from the council very recently. I believe it was last week. But they are going to discuss in a little bit more detail what Promise to Parents truly is and what it is going to be as we go through 2021 and ultimately beyond with Crossroads of America Council.
Hello, everybody. My name is John Webke, and I'm your new incoming council commissioner. I come from the Monon District, but I was raised and born in this council. I received my Eagle Scout in 1976, so I consider it a great honor to serve in this capacity to continue the traditions of scouting in our communities. So thank you for that opportunity. Hey, today I'm here to talk about a really exciting change, a shift in the way we communicate and set expectations with our units. It's called the Promise to Parents. We've abbreviated P2P to make it a little bit easier, a little bit more fun in our organization. But this is a great document that I'm anxious to get in your hands and to get your feedback on. This is a piece of documentation that I think is going to make it very easy to communicate with our parents and with our leaders about the expectations we have about what it means to be a scout in Central Indiana. Nathan Young refers to this as our brand standards. I look at it and I think, well, this is just what scouts do. So for many of you in the audience tonight who have been part of mature Cub packs and troops in the past, when you look at this document, you'll shrug your shoulders and say, well, this is what we've always been doing. But for new families coming into our organization and for new leaders looking to step up and take the responsibility of leading a Cub pack, den, or a scout troop, this is going to be an extremely helpful piece of documentation that's going to really lay out for them in very concrete and very easily to understand terms of what it means to be a scout in Central Indiana. This program is going to replace the JTE dials. Those of you who have been around in the past, you're familiar with those, and that was the way we judged the success of our units. But there were issues with those dials. The primary one being that they were lagging indicators. And then not only were they lagging indicators, but sometimes they were subject to seasonality, and sometimes, quite frankly, they were just disconnected from what units needed to do to be successful. So this documentation, this P2P program, is really going to change that and be much more forward-looking, be much more easy to communicate and discuss, and it's going to be something that we can share both with parents and our new leaders. So please approach this program with that thought in mind. There's differences between our Cub Scout programs and our Scouts BSA programs, obviously. So that's why we've created two separate Promise to Parents pieces of documentation, one that addresses the Cub Scout program and one that addresses the Scouts BSA program. And to help facilitate that introduction and that focus in our council between those two programs, I've also appointed two assistant council commissioners to my staff to help strengthen that communication and put emphasis on those two programs. I'm very pleased to announce that Mike Horrocks is the assistant council commissioner for Cub Scouting, and Denise Purdy Andrews is the assistant council commissioner for Scouts BSA. And if you know any of those people like I do, you know that their dedication to scouting is just huge. They've been a part of the program for many, many years and have a real passion for what they're doing. And they're down-to-earth people. They've been in the trenches with units and committees, so they know what they're talking about. That's what commissioner service is all about, right? Real-life experience, being able to help units better themselves. So without further ado, I want to introduce Mike and Denise to present the Promise to Parents program for each of their specific areas. Thanks so very much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, John. I'm excited for this new role as Assistant Council Commissioner for Scouts BSA. I joined scouting with my son over 20 years ago. and I keep finding new things in scouting to keep me engaged, like opening our packs and troops to girls and young women. As you can see on your screen, Promise to Parents for Troops is focused on the things we know good troops do that keep their scouts and volunteers engaged. These include things like helping Cub Scouts with recruiting and program and attending short and long-term camps. We all know how much that means in the lives of our scouts. We know you care about the youth in your communities, and we know that Scouts BSA can make a difference in the lives of families. So join us and make your promise to parents and run a great scouting program. Now let me turn it over to Mike Horrocks to discuss Cub Scouts.
Thanks, Denise. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you today. I'm Mike Horrocks, and I'm the new Assistant Council Commissioner that's over the PACs and the Cub Scouts within the council. So a little bit about myself. I have been involved with scouting for over 25 years, mostly with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. While in that program, I had 3 sons that became Eagle Scouts, so super proud of them and everything that they've done. I've continued my scouting with my youngest, my son. He's actually part of Troop 202 here in Carmel, Indiana. And he is, right now, he's a second-class scout and excited to see how he's going to continue to go through the program, and excited to be a part of that where I'm a committee member as well. Now, on your screen right now, you see the Promise to Parents for the Cub Scouts. And just like with the troops, what you see here is that we're focusing on things that we think, that we know are critical to have a pack that's engaged and that is getting the families and the young scout also engaged in it. When I look at the Promise to Parents for the pack, a couple things really bounce out that I am really excited about. First of all, the fact that we're recruiting youth, and especially there's a focus on recruiting girls into the packs. Now, along with my 4 boys, I also have a girl who's looking at doing a venturing crew. She was too old when the packs started opening up to girls, but I love the fact that we're recruiting young girls to come in and help be a new part of the future for Boy Scouts BSA. The other thing that I like is that it calls out how if we have an ideal year of scouting and we have that program calendar in place, that helps the parents know that they're getting their youth involved in a great quality program. And it also helps one of the other guides of scouting, which is advancement. This will help them be able to feel positive about what they're doing and know that they're going to be in a program that's going to help their young girl or young boy grow and be successful. Also, what we see here, the last 2 points that I really like is that we ask the PACs to participate in service projects like Scouting for Food. This is so critical to instill that opportunity of service and serving the community. And I think that's just so important for our youth today, to help them feel that's an important aspect. And then the last one that I really like is that we want them to be at day camp. We want them to have that camping experience. And the reason I feel like that is so important is because I've seen with my own children and I've seen with others that I've helped how those camp opportunities give them a chance to do something a little more difficult than they normally would. Like either be on a canoe or a zip line or anything like that at a day camp, where they now feel like they can overcome some of these things that would be challenges otherwise. And that gives them the confidence and the ability to go forward and have successful lives and have an impact on their community. So let's take the Promise to Parents and let's help deliver quality programs for our youth and so that they can impact their communities as well. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Denise, for taking the time to record this video and put into your own words what the Promise to Parents program means to you and how you see it being impactful in our units in your respective areas. Again, I'm super excited about this program. I think that it sets a standard. It's not too high of a standard. It's very attainable, but it puts it in very concrete, simplistic terms of what the milestones need to be for a quality unit in our district. And I'm using quality district, just like I used it with JTE dials. So there's nothing to it but to doing it. So let's start communicating this message to our unit leaders, our committee chairman, and any new parent who's interested in learning about the program. This documentation is going to be made available to you through your district executives. There's a link on our website, and we're going to continue to roll out and communicate about this program to really enable and set the standard for what scouting needs to be in Central Indiana in 2021 and forward. So thank you for all you're doing, and I look forward to your support. Look forward to your feedback as well, how this goes. Thanks so very much. Bye-bye.
And thank you to our council commissioner and the commissioner team for putting that together. As they mentioned, this documentation, and I know in the video it can be a little bit hard to read on the screen. Obviously, the copies that I have here on the screen are also very hard to read. They are available. There are hard copies that I have here in my hands. The link that is here on the screen will take you directly to these actual documents. And the things that are listed, as they mention, for seasoned scouters and for units that are doing good work and are performing well, these are probably going to be like, yeah, and like they're going to be very simplistic ideas, but there are units that do need this information and do need the support. And ultimately, it's also a family-facing and a parent-facing concept, so that we can explain to them, you know, as unit leaders, as district leaders, here is what we are going to provide for you. Here's what we are going to do to give you the best scouting experience that we can. As Brent mentioned here in the chat, you know, it can sound in a way that this is replacing JTE, and in the short term, obviously the JTE dials will still exist. They are measurement metrics that are still used here and there. The direction that all of this is going, though, we don't know if this is going to be the full and complete permanent replacement, or if we're going to modify it slightly and something else takes the place of JTE. Maybe JTE gets reworked. We're not sure. But Crossroads of America Council is essentially leading the charge on this one to say we can do better than what JTE has necessarily provided for us. JTE has its purpose, but it is a lagging indicator. By the time that says that there's an issue, the issue already exists and the unit is already struggling. If units are doing the things that Promise to Parents indicates, those units will tend to be stronger and more successful. They will be putting on a program that will tend to attract more youth and keep them more involved and keep them as retained scouts moving forward with a stronger program with good leadership and good volunteer involvement. So definitely take the time to look these over, see what your unit is doing and where you already have a good fit in the Promise to Parents, but also be honest and accept the feedback of my unit isn't doing X, Y, or Z exceptionally well, and take the time to focus on those areas and work for improvement on those. And ultimately, I think you'll find that your unit will be all the stronger for it. One other comment that came up in the chat, and Scoutmaster Amy from Troop 219 asked, isn't May 2nd a Sunday? So going back to the recruiting, the fishing event, I think I may have inadvertently said Saturday, May 2nd. I apologize for having Saturday on the brain. May 2nd is a Sunday. The date is correct. So focus on the May 2nd. Ignore if I said the word Saturday. It is on Sunday, May 2nd, for the Hooked on Scouting fishing event. So, Amy, thank you for that catch. I am definitely not perfect. I appreciate feedback so that I can get things corrected for you. A couple of other miscellaneous announcement things, and then we're going to get to our breakout sessions for the evening. First of all, as we talk about the Promise to Parents, one of the sections that was in there mentioned was Scouting for Food. If you were not aware, the 2021 Scouting for Food campaign will be in April, specifically April 17th to the 24th, that window of a week in there, distributing the bags for people to put food into on or about April 17th. And then ultimately, we would like to have all bags picked up from neighborhoods and delivered to the appropriate food pantries on Sunday, April 24th. So if you have not registered for Scouting for Food as yet, there is a long gobbledygook link here that will take you to a Google form to be able to register. Otherwise, you can contact the council directly. There is a contact on the website that will let you know about Scouting for Food, or talk to Tucker and we can get you that information. The important cutoff, though, is coming up very, very soon on March 15th. That is the deadline if you're wanting grocery bags or stickers to have those set up for your unit to be able to pick up. If you have ordered those materials, they'll be available sometime after April 1st. The council will send out that information once they have it. But if you don't have them ordered by March 15th, you won't be able to get those. So do make sure that you have registered and that you have your order in for bags and stickers by March 15th. This is another requirement for any unit that was doing the older recharter version of Promise to Parents. And there, in talking with Tucker, there are units that are on that program that have not signed up to do this yet. So please make sure, you may be planning on doing it and just haven't filled out the form. Make sure you fill out the form to let us know, yes, we are doing this. We are participating in Scouting for Food. This one, it's a pretty short time frame, and I apologize, but I found out about this on Monday night, and I wanted to include it. In talking with Alan Slidham, who is a district committee at-large member. He's also the chartering organization rep for my units, so I know him pretty well. But he's also involved with the shooting sports committee at the council level. This weekend, Saturday, March 13th and 14th, Saturday and Sunday, there is an NRA basic rifle and shotgun training that is taking place at Camp Kick the Weenand. The registration, so if you go to this link, scoutingevent.com/160-, if you go there, it will say that registration is closed. Breaking news, there are still a few, and as of Monday night, I want to say it was 4 spots available for this training. Why does this matter? This course, the basic rifle and shotgun training, is a prerequisite, a required prerequisite for the full NRA basic instructor course for rifle and shotgun. The BSA National, through Crossroads of America Council, is hosting that course here at Randsburg Scout Reservation the last weekend of March 26th through the 28th. If you want to do that course, you have to have this one done first. And why this matters, especially, as Scouts BSA troops, if you want to be able to do shooting sports at the troop level, you have to have NRA certified instructors who are trained to be able to do range master and properly do safety and teach proper firearm instruction and whatnot at the troop level. So this is a critical training if you want to have more shooting sports activities for your unit and be able to utilize the fantastic facilities that we have at Randsburg or Cretenstein or Kick the Weenan to participate in shooting sports at the unit level and not just at the summer camp environment. Troop 499, we do, and 1499, we do the shooting sports at the unit level at least once a year, and it's always a fantastic experience for our scouts. If you've ever considered doing it at the unit level, this is the training that you want to attend. I apologize, you only have a couple days notice, but if you're interested in doing it, call Thomas Barrington directly. That's the information that I have from Alan Slidham. Just go to this web link, get the information you need, and call Thomas directly. They can still get you in for one of those couple of spots that remain. Finally, on Saturday, March 27th, this is relatively breaking news. I just heard about it today. Crossroads America Council will be doing another council coordinated meeting. If you've never been involved in one of these, think of it kind of like a council level roundtable. The idea is that it's going to provide great in-depth information for not only district leaders, but unit leaders as well. So if your unit is able to send representatives to the CCC meeting, that would be fantastic. And I think it would provide a lot of great information for your units to be able to use. There is a general session starting at 9 a.m. And then there are two electives, one starting at 10 and one starting at 11, that you can choose to sign up for one or both. And there will be sessions focused on membership. So if you have a membership chair or somebody overseeing recruiting for your unit, they should definitely attend. There will be a popcorn session. So your popcorn kernel can get the inside scoop, popcorn scoop as it were, of Popcorn 2021 and what that's going to look like. There are committee breakouts. There are marketing breakouts. There are like 10 or 11. I can't remember them all off the top of my head. The link here on the screen, cacin.us/CCC, that will take you to a Google form where you can register to attend. And again, this is open to any leader. It's not just district or council. Unit leaders are also more than welcome to attend and encouraged in many cases, depending on your position. So please mark your calendars for that as well and make plans to attend on March 27th. There was some conversation going back and forth on JTE forms and having difficulty pulling those. Brant, thank you so much for your assistance in working that out with Mike. If there are any other questions, please let us know. So we've got 2 breakout sessions left to do. We're going to do Cub Scout breakout first, and then we'll do Scouts BSA following that. The Cub Scout breakout session for this evening is focusing on a very important topic, and we actually addressed some of the elements of it. When it comes to recruiting, we're talking about spring recruiting and fall recruiting already. We're talking about summer camp. A lot of what we're discussing are plans for the future, and planning is the key word of the day. Ultimately, our breakout for tonight is going to focus around the idea of program planning and annual planning. Ultimately, an annual planning event that every PAC should be looking to do about now. In April, normally we would still have a roundtable in person, but instead of roundtable, it's an ideal year of scouting evening. That will still be the case virtually. There will not be this traditional roundtable on the second Thursday in April. Instead, we will be doing ideal year of scouting for the month of April. So more information will be coming on that. But the annual planning portion of this for PACs really does need to start now. Looking at your recruiting plans, your financial plans, your calendaring, your program, and getting all those things pulled together. So the questions here on the screen are the questions that they'll ask you to consider at the end. I put them up here so you can think about them now. As we're going through, in the chat, comment about what your unit does for an annual planning event, whether as a PAC, a troop, a crew, or a ship. Take a few moments and type out, we do X event and here's who's invited, or we haven't done one, but we want to get started. What's the best way to do it? Have a conversation in the chat and let us know what your units do for annual planning. And then after the breakout, we can look at any of those comments and kind of evaluate further.
Sometimes I ponder the great mysteries of life, such as, why are there interstate highways in Hawaii? If you're in a vehicle going the speed of light, what happens when you turn on the headlights? How do you know when it's time to tune your bagpipes? You may think such deep thoughts at times, and one of those thoughts may be, what makes a great Cub Scout pack? We will explore the answer to this question for the ages during this roundtable. Welcome to Roundtable, and I'm glad that you're here as we explore the mysteries of Cub Scouting and what makes a great Cub Scout pack. We will explore this together, and at the end, you should find the answer to this burning question. We're going to approach this with a metaphor of being sick. When you're sick, you know that you're sick because you're showing symptoms, a fever or a runny nose, and you may take something to treat those symptoms, to break the fever or stop the runny nose. However, if you continue to have a fever, you want to find the cause of that fever. You want to find that disease. So in addition to treating the symptom, you want to treat the disease to keep those symptoms from returning. So in Cub Scouting, what's the most common disease, not symptoms, but disease that we find with Cub Scout packs that are struggling? We know that not conducting an annual program planning conference is that disease. Okay, don't let the word conference intimidate you. How about an annual program planning party? The name is not as important as the purpose and the results. Just like eating right, staying hydrated, and exercising can prevent health issues, conducting an annual program planning is the best thing you can do to get your pack healthy and keep it healthy. Our prescription for every pack is to conduct an annual program planning conference. Now, during this roundtable, we're not going to go through the details of how to conduct one. Instead, we will share some proven techniques. To learn how to conduct an annual program planning conference, simply go to my.scouting and the BSA Learn Center, complete the Cub Scout training module, Annual Program Planning for Cub Scouting. Now, that's found in the Pack Committee Chair training track of Earning Your Training Strip. This 18-minute module will walk you through the details of how to conduct this conference with your pack. In the training module, there is information about the secret sauce of scouting. Now, this is a research-driven project that discovered the 3 key ingredients to the secret sauce that's found in scouting programs that have high retention and participation among their families. Now, the first step is that the pack committee chair and the Cub Master should meet to discuss the annual program planning and make some decisions. In addition to setting the date and time and location of the event, there needs to be a decision on what kind of planning event do you want. Do you want this to be a conference with adults only? Do you want it to be an event for adults and Cub Scouts? Or an event where all family members are invited? For example, as Cub Master, I met with our pack committee chair and we decided to make our conference family friendly. We made ours a summer picnic with hamburgers and hot dogs, fun activities for the kids, and we conducted it on our committee chair's property. Now, all families were invited and expected to attend. We kept it fun and casual atmosphere. Now, this helped us build a community. I want to point out that the element that made our planning conference a success was that it was something that we knew our families would enjoy, and it was something that they could look forward to. From past events, we learned that our families liked special events on a Saturday, and that when we provided food, people showed up. If you choose to have an adult-only conference, will that exclude some members of your pack who are single parents? Is there something you can do to arrange to ensure that they too can participate? Making those type of arrangements creates a very welcoming atmosphere. Now, here's a tip from the experts. At your planning conference, have an open dialogue about defining success for your pack. Now, think of it this way. Next year, at the next planning conference, how will you know that you were successful? When you see smiling faces and hear laughter and see Cub Scouts having fun, that certainly is a great way to measure success. Now, getting gold in Journey to Excellence may be a goal of the pack committee chair. However, if that goal isn't something that everyone else is bought into, chances are it will be a constant struggle. So here's the tip from the experts on that. Keep in mind that it isn't the plan that's going to make you successful, but the commitment to the plan. And the way to get a commitment to a plan is that you need to get ownership by those who are going to be part of making the plan happen. Annual program planning provides not only an opportunity to set dates for meetings and activities, more importantly, it provides an opportunity for your pack to define its own success and to create a sense of community. Another item to address is the pack calendar. This certainly is the objective of the conference, to have a calendar of meeting dates and of events and times and locations for the coming program year. But in this training module, it states the Cub Master Committee Chair should have a draft calendar to present. This is actually a lot easier than it sounds. Instead of starting with a blank calendar, just simply take the dates of all the PAC meetings and events from last year's calendar, pencil them into next year's calendar. At the conference, you can go month by month and ask, what needs to be changed? This will help keep the meeting moving, and several months will not require much discussion or any changes at all. If your PAC does not have a history of doing an annual program planning, you will need to manage your expectations of participation. You're not going to capture everyone the first time you conduct one, but you will capture some. Like any other well-run event, there shouldn't be any surprises as to who will be there. That means simply personally contact with everyone you are expecting to attend and confirm their attendance if they can or cannot come. So a tip from the experts is use the calendar and the discussions from the annual program planning as a regular part of your monthly committee meetings or monthly parent meetings. A review of the next 3 months, confirming details for the next month, and making assignments for tasks creates a healthy and functional PAC. You also want to manage your expectations of the results. Instead of setting the expectation that things will always be perfect or that you're striving towards perfection, have an expectation of continuous improvement. You will make mistakes, and that is okay. Learn from them, make adjustments, and move forward. So, what makes a PAC great? Conducting an annual program planning is a major factor in making your PAC great. It will help you build a community for your families, and when a community works together, it can overcome any challenge. Now, it's time for you to share. For the remainder of the session, consider these questions. If your PAC conducts an annual program planning conference, what part of the conference do you feel your PAC does well? What part of the conference do you think your PAC could improve on? If your PAC conducts an annual program planning conference, why do you think it is an important part of how your PAC operates? Have you taken the training module, Annual Program Planning for Cub Scouting? If so, is there something in that module that you learned and that you use in your PAC? What do you do for your annual program planning conference? If you don't conduct an annual program planning conference, what are the barriers to you doing one this summer? And is there someone at Roundtable who would be willing to help you? Now, annual program planning conferences can be a great fun way to build community for your PAC and to get ready for the next program year. So have fun doing it, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
And I think the most important thing that he didn't say is by doing a planning conference like this, you're not doing it alone. I know there are unit leaders out there who often find themselves at a loss for help, and sometimes they think they have to carry the unit by themselves, and they're pulling the load, all by themselves. This is a great opportunity to get other people involved. Obviously we want to gather their opinions, but at the same time, if people are sharing their opinions, you also have to let them know, hey, to pull these things off and to do bigger and better things, I need somebody to run this. So it's a great opportunity to get more people involved at the PAC level. And we've had some great comments here, in the chat. PAC 139 has a dedicated committee meeting in April where they do planning for the upcoming year. That's fantastic, especially because we're trying to get a lot of the planning documents for Promise to Parents are going to be turned in by late June. So April is a fantastic time to get that done. At the troop level, doing it after unit elections when you have new youth that are assuming their positions, doing a planning conference at that point and having the youth plan out their program and what they want to do for their adventures and for their monthly themes for their troop meetings, what have you, is another fantastic way to do it. Don't necessarily think of annual planning as having to be a once a year concept. Even at the PAC level, at the troop level, I know that there are a lot of troops that will do 2 and 3 planning meetings a year, essentially, planning out the 6-month chunk immediately ahead of them, and then rough sketching the 6 months after that, but subject to change when they get up to it with the next planning session. The PACs can do that as well. And if there's a lesson from COVID-19, we've got to be prepared to be flexible and make adjustments on the fly. doing a mid-year planning conference and say, all right, here's where we're at, put together our stop, start, continue list. Here are the things that we need to adjust, is another great way to look at things. PAC 107, having an annual meeting and planning for the next year. Again, it's great seeing some of these suggestions, and Brant, definitely be careful in offering to join units. I think you and I both know that an adult application can come out of nowhere and end up in your hands. So these are all great ideas. Definitely look at maybe new and different ways to expand the planning conference, especially at the PAC level. I think too often it's all adult driven. Maybe consider having the youth at some point. Obviously, you're not going to take every single one of their ideas. Otherwise, it would be a playground day every single week. But their insight may have you adjust something that you're doing ever so slightly that makes it a better experience for them. Or consider having a more family-friendly structured type of event. Instead of a committee meeting, maybe it is a full family event, because there you may be able to get new volunteers and new people to assist your committee from families that aren't currently as active as you would like them to be. So always look at possibilities of doing things slightly differently. You will be rewarded for it 9 times out of 10. So that is the Cub Scout breakout for this month. Moving on to Scouts BSA, the theme for tonight's breakout session, and these are the 2 questions that ultimately they're going to ask. The theme is called the Scouting Journey, which is a little bit of a cryptic topic. Ultimately, what we're discussing here are the 8 methods of scouting, the 8 major themes that we're looking to perform and provide through our troop execution. So take a look at these questions. And again, in the comments, I loved that we had a little bit of conversation and banter going back and forth. So at the troop level, and even at the PAC level, crews and ships, give your feedback as well. Comment about these methods of scouting. Talk about what you feel is the most important one for your unit that you do well. And then maybe comment on the one where you think, you know what, we could probably improve in this area and this is our greatest opportunity. We'll circle back with a little bit of discussion on your comments after the video, and then look to wrap up Roundtable after that. So enjoy your Scouts BSA breakout, and I'll see you here in a few minutes.
Many of us are fortunate to have experienced the scouting program as a youth member and continue to be involved in this great program today as a scouter. We have memories that will last a lifetime. Scouting is all about experiences and youth members learning the aims of scouting, which are character development, citizenship training, leadership, and mental and physical fitness. Having the aims in mind as a scouter in the Scouts BSA program will help your scouts enjoy a meaningful journey. You can help ensure that happens by having your troop use the 8 methods of scouting. The 8 methods utilized by Scouts BSA to achieve the aims are ideals, patrols, outdoor program, advancement, association with adults, personal growth, leadership development, and uniform. So let's take a few minutes to explore these methods. The ideals of our program are spelled out in the Scout Oath, Scout Law, motto, and slogan. The Scout measures themselves against these ideals and continually tries to improve. The standards are high, and as a Scout strives to meet those standards, they have control over what and who they become. The patrol method gives Scouts an experience in group living and participating in citizenship. Young shoulders learn to bear the weight of responsibility as Scouts interact in small groups where they can easily relate to each other. For some youth, this is the first time they have the opportunity to govern themselves. Our program centers around an outdoor experience. The outdoor setting allows Scouts to share responsibilities and learn to live with one another. Here, the skills and activities practiced at troop meetings come alive. Being close to nature helps Scouts gain an appreciation for God's handiwork and humankind's place in the natural world. Many Scouts do not get the opportunity to explore the outdoors. We as Scouters need to work to make this experience happen. Scouting provides a series of surmountable obstacles and steps to overcome them through the advancement method. The Scout plans their advancement and progresses at their own pace as they meet each challenge. The Scout is rewarded for each achievement, which helps them gain self-confidence. The steps in the advancement system helps a Scout grow in self-reliance and in the ability to help others. Scouts learn a great deal by watching how adults conduct themselves. Scouters must be positive role models for the members of their troops. In many cases, a Scouter willing to listen, encourage, and take a sincere interest in Scouts can make a profound difference in their lives. Scouts experience personal growth as they plan activities and progress towards goals. The good turn concept plays a major part in the personal growth method of Scouting. Young people grow as they participate in community service projects and do good turns for others. The religious emblem program also factors in the personal growth method and will help each Scout to determine their growth towards Scouting's aims. The Scouting program encourages Scouts to learn and practice leadership skills. Every Scout has the opportunity to participate in both shared and total leadership situations. Understanding the concepts of leadership and becoming a servant leader helps a Scout accept the leadership role of others and guides them towards participating, citizenship, and character development. Many prominent leaders who were once Scouts attribute the leadership skills learned in Scouting to their success today. The uniform makes up an iconic part of our program and creates a positive image. The community expects an individual wearing the Scout uniform to do what is right. Wearing the uniform shows the public a Scout's commitment to the aims and purposes of Scouting. The uniform gives the Scout identity in a world brotherhood of youth who believe in the same ideals. The uniform allows the Scout to feel they are part of something bigger than themselves. Many troops occasionally fall into the trap of only focusing on one or two of these methods. As a Scouter, we should guide our Patrol Leaders Council when involving in the annual program plan to make sure all aspects of the methods of Scouting are included if we are to ensure a memorable journey. As Scouters, we need to make sure that the journey our Scouts have provide memorable, positive experiences that will assist them in being the best that they can be for our society's future. The ultimate destination on the Scouting journey lies in our youth achieving the purpose of the Scouts BSA program as embodied in the aims of character development, personal fitness, citizenship, and leadership. Please take the remainder of this breakout session to discuss the questions on the screen. Thank you for watching and for all you do for Scouting.
Some great reminders there about execution in the Scouts BSA program, and Brant has brought up a good point here in the chat. Often it's very easy for us to be focused on creating stronger troops and executing at the troop level, when really what we need to be looking for is the strength in the execution at the patrol level. Do we have strong patrols that we're building in our troops? Do they execute the patrol method correctly? Do they really look at that youth leadership tree with an SPL who's relying on their patrol leaders to guide their smaller groups and execute on that patrol basis? Strong patrols will result in a stronger troop. A troop, even if it's executing well as a troop, without stronger patrols, you're missing something in the equation. And ultimately, it's not going to be as powerful as an experience as it could have been if we focus purely on the troop level and not necessarily focus on execution of the patrol method and at the patrol level. There are a lot more things that we could obviously discuss, and our time is limited. I don't want to take us beyond the normal 8:30 cutoff. So if you have any other final questions, if there's anything else that you would like to discuss in the chat, please mention that right now. I do want to personally thank everyone who has joined us this evening on our live stream, the more than 3 dozen Scouters who appeared with us live tonight. If you're joining us on the recording, if you're watching this after the fact, thank you for taking the time to join us for Roundtable and to get the information that you need to take back to your units and make the units' efforts as successful as possible in delivering the scouting program. Ultimately, on behalf of the Pathfinder District Committee, thank you to each and every one of you for everything that you do for scouting. We would not be here if it were not for your efforts, and it is a pleasure and an honor to be able to serve you as Roundtable Commissioner, bring you this information once a month. So thank you for your time. I do have one favor, as we discuss most months. If you haven't already, please take a moment and like or subscribe or subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the post, comment, share it. The more engagement that you provide for our content, the greater the reach that we have in reaching other people about scouting here in Central Indiana, and the better job that we can do of communicating important information for you to be able to take onto your units and execute the scouting program. So thank you in advance for your help there. And thank you again for joining. Not seeing any questions coming in. We'll go ahead and wrap up for tonight. Have a wonderful evening. We will not see you in April. Again, we will be doing Ideal Year of Scouting in April. There will not be Roundtable, but we will be back again with Roundtable in May. Until then, have a wonderful month of March, a wonderful month of April, a wonderful spring break, and a wonderful scouting experience with your units here in Pathfinder District and Crossroads of America Council here in Central Indiana.
I'm feeling real good cause today is a good day. I got a big surprise and I'm gonna send it your way. I'm gonna send it your way. It's a wonderful time, everybody let's celebrate. Get down. I'm feeling real good cause today is a good day.
Thank you for all your hard work and dedication in supporting the Boy Scouts of America.
Woo! Yeah! Thanks for helping venturers like me. Hey, Mom.
Thank you. Thank you.
No!
Thank you.
Feeling real good cause today is a good day. I got a big surprise and I'm gonna send it your way. I'm about to send it your way. It's a wonderful time, everybody let's celebrate. I'm feeling real good cause today is a good day. Come on. I'm feeling real good. Yeah, I said I'm feeling right. I'm feeling real good. That's right. I'm feeling real good. Hey, yo, I'm feeling right. I'm feeling real good.
I told you.
I'm feeling real good cause today is a good day.